Bank, you would expect G2 to have quite a substantial advantage moving into this one. Empire already having lost 2 maps of this best-of-5 series. They have no choice but to win here. It'll be a Montaigne ban, and that's a very sensible ban against G2 on Bank especially. Good job there, Team Empire. First one for G2, looks like it's gonna be Jackal. That also makes a whole lot of sense. Joystick plays Jackal reliably on Bank. You can see him on that operator very often here. He'll also play IQ from time to time, which is probably gonna be one of his main operators here. That or the Ashe, now that it's been left unbanned. It'll be a Maestro, which is a very standard defensive ban, and likely a Jaeger. We've been wondering if they're gonna be banning Jaeger 3 times in a row, and no, a Mira, a sidestep here from G2. And that's definitely going to hurt or rather from Empire, pardon me, as Maestro banned by G2. That's going to be a sidestep, but it is going to be that the projectiles, the throwables from the attack will be slightly less powerful now that they can be caught by the Jaeger. And Joystick's going to play Jaeger right off the bat.
What a surprise.
Yeah, go figure. This is also, by the way, the very first map where Empire have defended first.
Didn't we see this with Liquid, though? Liquid went 1 match without banning Jaeger, and Empire just sprung to life.
Yeah, I want to say we have, and honestly, that is going to be a very significant change here for Empire, especially considering now they get to defend first, which, I mean, again, the first time that's going to happen in this series, and it caught me off guard, because I got the order of the bands kind of mixed up in my head.
Yeah.
Now, basement defense first here for Empire. This is nothing surprising. What is, though, very slightly, is they're going to actually reinforce the Teller's wall rather than open up rotation. That means it's less likely that they're going to try and roam in Tellers. It also denies a potential angle that G2 could use to cut off the rotation from the main stairs later in the round if Empire wants to go for a late flank. But there are still plenty of other options to cut off that angle from G2.
5 seconds left.
There is no Hibana ban, which means she will be played. Not at all surprising. Maverick's not necessary here because you can still bring 2 hard disruptors, because none of them have been banned.
All right. The thing that we've seen commonplace on Bank is that wall inside a garage is just shown, it's unreinforced. You can open that up, you can have somebody play long range in there. Usually it's a Maestro who's gonna play in that role, but there's no Maestro because he's banned. Obviously in this particular encounter. But it's still a position where you can put your Echo as well.
Drone ready.
You just have to ensure that somebody is playing in garage, that's it. Because Echo doesn't really have the same firepower that Maestro does, and that is a bigger issue.
Spotted.
This one Valkyrie camera down already for G2. It was an odd place. It was very obvious in the middle of the hallway. It was set up by Scyther. This is gonna be a clear upstairs. Oh no. Fabian doesn't look to his right. Joystick is right there. This could be an easy double kill for Joystick.
He's in a great position.
Is he gonna commit? He sees the Hibana, he gets one. Does he get traded off? Where's Fabian? Hot on his heels. Right around the corner. Joystick will get nothing. 1 kill, and then immediately refragged by Fabian, and G2 will find themselves without one of their hard breachers. That's the Hibana, as you know. It's strange to see a Bank play without a single hard breacher ban, but both of these teams have particular operators they like in their arsenal, so it makes sense to prioritize elsewhere. This just means that hatch control is not going to be for G2. As you hear the server hatch go to one of the exothermic charges, it's very likely that the other exothermic charge is going to be on the wall. Fabian gets taken down as Pengu has mysteriously vanished from the earth. I don't know where, but he'll be back at some point as Kanto and Goga will now be in a 2v4.
G2 with full control of server, but up against so much counterplant utility. 2C Force, Yokai drones, and gas canisters with only a minute to work with. It's a rush from G2. Goga takes down Scyther, and he's up against the wall, quite literally. Still Nitro Cell in the hands of the Pulse. Shock, great position, and with so much time, G2 knows they don't need to rush themselves anymore. Shock takes out Goga, so no more kills for him. On the A-bomb chassis, Kanto Raketti will trade. Nice and even. And Empire take round number 1.
They need that after the border match.
They certainly
They
do.
really did need that. I'd like to know where Pengu went, by the way, and if he's coming back at any point. He appears to be back in.
Kind of just evaporated and it was a little bit weird. But I'm sure he'll get back in due time. The way that Empire held onto that site was very standard. The roam from Joystick solo above was the most abnormal thing about the round, and it actually worked out well, I'd say, considering they got the Hibana.
It wasn't actually Pengu who left, because Pengu died. It was Jonas who disconnected.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so we're going to take a technical pause here.
Yeah.
Now, a couple things that went wrong for G2 that Empire just needed to sit back. As you noted on Border, they're very patient. They just sat and they just waited. That was it. They did the same on this. They had the smoke playing back inside of B, able to throw the toxic canister all the way towards the other bomb site. Hello, nice to see you.
And it was pretty standard play on terms of utility there.
And when you lose the Hibana and you don't have a Maverick, what are you going to do with the hatches?
I mean, they didn't. That's exactly the truth. I mean, they realized there was no real opportunity to have a standard attacking round there. And G2 just said, hey, you know what? We're going to go for the push in through server. So that makes a lot of sense to see from G2. Not at all surprising. And it almost allowed G2 to get site control. But there was way too much counterplant utility. I mean, Yokai drones, like I said, gas canister, C4. Every single one of the defenders in that situation had counterplant utility. So, yeah, G2's not going to be able to plant pretty much no matter what.
They're going to have to, unfortunately, wait another year for Greek Ops.
Or, yeah, or so it seems based on the reveal. So, looks like we have everybody here and accounted for. Seems whatever the problem was has been solved. Looks like we'll be loading back in. It'll be CEO for the next site from Empire, meaning we're going to be skipping over Tellers, which is the common theme here on Bank as of late, especially at this tournament. Castle being brought to try and assist the defense at the top floor. Pretty standard stuff. Those barricades will probably go by banana. Scythe are going to be reinforcing that main wall just to try and cut off potential line of sight that the attackers can establish from the main lobby repel.
Keep in mind that Glaz is available as well, should G2 want to put Jonas on him.
It's true, yeah. And he had a good round on Border as Glaz in
Yes.
Armory.
Well, he had one bad round.
But one good round.
And then one good round.
Yeah. So the good one, I think, paid off really well. It was a really decisive win there for G2, and if I'm not mistaken, the last round as well, getting them the win, so it is what it is.
People have wondered, why do you shoot those barricades like that? Sound. It allows you to hear easier on the other side.
The North Repel is so very powerful if you let the attackers set themselves up there, and they can just get a spontaneous, break the barricade and shoot somebody playing in the site, then you really don't want that to happen. So instead, open the window ahead of time. You don't have to open it fully.
It's just one of those things that satisfies you, the way that Joystick broke those barricades perfectly on
Just
the
gets
very bottom panel.
Yeah, just
he didn't mess up once.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Perfect.
It's just so satisfying. Oddly satisfying, so. But yeah, so that's the opportunity to run out. As you noted, those windows are so powerful. There's no shortage of footage of a team literally breaking that window and going for the run out. I believe Pengu did it against Reciprocity yesterday in particular.
It's a pretty common strategy on Bank. It's an intimidating one. You'd think that you'd be down if you go for that vault, but you won't. You'll just take a little bit of damage, and you can even make the run all the way to the sewer entrance. There's potential to get back into the building. But almost every time when you commit to that, you're cut off in server, and the attackers will be able to get a pick in response. So it's got to be worth it as a defender to make that run out.
It's not bringing the Jackal is an okay decision for G2, obviously. That's why they banned him. I meant like not being able to use the Jackal at all. But G2 struggled on Coastline to find information when they pushed in. They kind of did a little as well on Border. G2 managed to fix it through that second half of Coastline, in which all the attacking victories, or all the rounds were attacking victories. Now this time around, G2 know they have to be able to push on upstairs. So Jonas to shoot his own drone. That looks like another drone on his own team. That's unideal. One of those castle barricades goes on the banana wall, and now Jonas creeping on up. Jumps up, but these are late marks that Jonas doesn't really know to go with. Shock takes out Goga. Down goes one of the two hard breachers on G2. As Kanto sprints on up towards the conference room.
No control on Banana is really not great here for Team Empire. The fact that Jonas is able to find himself in this position, he could do a lot of work if given the opportunity. Joystick is going to take out Pengu, his teammate, and meanwhile, Jonas will trade with Cypher, but on the down, he can pick himself up as the Zofia. Meanwhile, his team is fragging out. And because Jonas can pick himself up, this is going to go to advantage G2. 3 versus 2, with Shock on very low HP. Karzeka playing in a very difficult position to make work behind this couch, which does not offer any real protection against those bullets. Fabian coming up the main lobby stairs. He's in a good position to assist Cantor Raketti, who will be coming in from meeting hall. Unwatched and an easy frag onto Shock. Only one bullet. Jonas follows it up with a kill onto Karzeka. The withstand really working out for G2 in that round. They're going to put another one in their column, but this is the first one for Bank. Go to 1-1.
They tied in Pro League. They're tied right now.
It's early days.
I'm getting flashbacks to Coastline.
Yeah, no, you might be right, actually.
Let's get another 20 rounds in on this one.
It's entirely possible. I even see it as likely on this map. It's going to be, looks like CEO again from Empire. I don't know how I feel about that. The way that Empire defended that was not fantastic. They were a little bit fearful of reception/banana. Reason being, G2 put a lot of focus on it. There's that run out on the north that we talked about. Joystick almost got 2 from that, actually. But yeah, over here, by reception and banana, G2 is able to establish control. Such a powerful position to then launch an attack into the rest of the site. And following that, if you lose meeting hall control, crossfires are abundant, and it's really hard for the defenders to lock you out.
It was mostly a lobby push as well up the main stairs. There was no real skylight presence, right?
I mean, we've seen that as common in this tournament so far, right?
Right, but I mean, there's a lot of teams that just, they don't worry about defending the walls inside of A. Those CEO walls, they just ignore them for the most part. It's an easy target for a Thermite, so Goga can just walk up and get one of the walls, open it up. You see that there's no breach denial on Empire's side. There's no bandit, there's no boot. I mean, if G2 reads into that, they can open those walls up quite effectively.
Yeah, then on CEO, it is incredibly relevant. On the bottom floor, less so. The attacker's going to open the drop down, they're going to open the server wall, that's just going to happen. But on CEO, if you could deny the CEO walls themselves, then you're in a much better spot as a defensive team. I understand, though, why Empire has not brought either a bandit or a mute. You know, the operators they've decided to bring are kind of important on this site. Of course, Joystick's going to bring in Jaeger to catch the throwables and projectiles. You've got Castle to give you more flexibility. Defense on the top floor. ACOG on dock makes a lot of sense. Plus, there are a lot of engagements throughout this map, especially where defenders are getting away from engagements without getting headshot or down or killed outright. Smoke is a foregone conclusion on almost every site, every round, and then Valkyrie for the information. Makes a lot of sense.
It's actually the fewest amount of information operators that Empire's ran, though.
Yeah, it's true.
They usually have Maestro, they usually have Echo, they have a Valkyrie. They don't really play Pulse, but guess what? You've got Maestro being banned. We saw Echo last round. Didn't really do all that much with Karzeka holding that operator down.
Yeah.
So instead you're gonna run solely with the Valkyrie. On a couple occasions when Scyther was playing on round number 1, those Valkyrie cameras were spotted really early on. I think there was a miss from Kanto, and man, that one castle barricade is now going to be so valuable.
It enables Scyther to continue to play this position, but he could still die as he exposes himself trying to peek into Cantor Raketti. Very dangerous challenge. And Scyther will win it. As Cantor Raketti goes down, that's a lot of pressure that he no longer feels from the main lobby repel and can now focus on holding the stairs. Shock's also going to take out Jonas, so this is a really good round so far from Empire. And that was through the Habana holes that G2 themselves made.
Unwise. I think it's Devin that always says those holes go both ways, and they absolutely do, especially in that circumstance. So G2's execution on CEO was much finer the previous round. A mishap on that castle barricade is what still allows Empire to play comfortably in that area. That's where Scyther is, over by the banana area of the office. He's gonna peek out, but Goga just absolutely shuts him down. Karzeka with a longer range angle gets felled by Fabian, 2v3. Very good straight here for Team Empire, but that's a freebie as Fabian walks in, looks for another, can't land it on the castle, trying to finish him off. Pengu knows, and it's swung in favor as Joystick, who is so superbly talented as a player, will come on back. He's got those Habana holes being opened up, but he's shut down by Pengu, and G2 somehow managed to pull a rabbit out of a hat on that site. CEO goes in their favor twice, and Empire lose their footing on that particular round.
That was Empire's round through and through, and G2 somehow managed to salvage it. Well done there, Pengu and Fabian. What a clutch, truly. We're going to be having a small pause here while we get things sorted out, and then we'll get right back into the match. But that last round, I think the patience for Empire actually worked against them in that situation. I would have liked to see a little bit more assertiveness. They had a significant advantage right after Cantor Ketty was taken out on that main window rappel. Following that, they did very little with it. They allowed G2 to play the angles that G2 really wanted in that situation.
It's a strong position for Karzeka to play. I don't know if G2 had even droned out elevators. It didn't look like they had. They just knew he was there because he got the kill from that location. You can see the bullet tracers with the other body. That was Fabian that was playing nearby. So you have that info at your disposal. You can push on up. But that was 2 rounds where it seemed like G2 was kind of flying blind. The first CEO take was a lot more methodical. The second one, Empire responded well. Like we said, how much of that was that one castle barricade on Banana staying in place? Because that allowed the dock to not have to move. And furthermore, gave additional coverage farther back to the rest of Empire, as that was another greater sightline that was covered up.
So, here we go. Back to the bottom floor. This being the only site that Empire has had success on thus far on bank defense. They tried CEO twice and failed it twice. Though the last time, of course, as we all just witnessed, was very close. I wonder if they're going to decide to go to CEO the next time they have to pick a site other than the bottom floor, or if we will finally see a Teller's hold from them.
Didn't you say that Tellers has the distinction of actually having the best
Yeah.
defensive rate, but it gets played less?
Yeah, it gets played so substantially less that the numbers are a bit askew, where Tellers is definitely one of the most successful bomb sites. Since it gets played so little, I don't know if it really, those stats really matter. I think overall, most defensive teams prefer to go to the CEO site because they find themselves in scrims that it works best for them. And that's a stat that we just don't have access to, but we can easily surmise that from the sheer quantity of CEO picks.
Mags.
Yes, the quantity is what makes it surmisable.
Okay, Parker.
Just had to get that in there. All right. Round 4, last time around. One of the early problems for G2 was that they lost the hard breach.
Yes.
Tengu dropped immediately. Something happened with Jonas. He disappeared. And he was gone. They put G2 at a numbers of disadvantage, and then those hatches that are so important, they need to be able to take, were able to just exist for so long. G2 has changed things up, though. We usually see them play a Maverick. If you recall, it's Fabian who will often play the Maverick. So what do? He puts the Maverick inside of an area. He gets that one hatch that's inside, pokes a couple holes in it. But he's been on the IQ team, in large part because they know that there's going to be both 2 Yokais, as well as a bunch of Evil Eye cams, due to Empire's composition. Additionally, there's a pulse emerging this time around, which will allow Fabian to have even more information.
Control here on the main wall, having opened it using the Habana, or so it seems. Usually it would be Thermite to do that. Didn't quite catch it though, could have been either or. It'll be Habana on the long wall. So this is to try and catch the C4s as they're being thrown. And you can see that 2 people from G2 are doubling up on that. Gas canister's way too late. The C4 will land though.
Attackers recovered the
No one from G2 able to hit the shot, but it's a double down as Jonas starts going for the plant as well. He's just faking it out. Can't plant amidst the smoke. C4, poorly timed there from Empire. But since they managed to land the previous one, that's okay. They've still got counter plant utility in hand.
The attackers bombed
I also think that we just saw a Yokai drone disappear. What an angle from Fabian as Jonas goes yet again. But there's no C4s, there's no smokes. There you go, the Yokai pops up. Last toxic canister goes down when Shepard's final Yokai is still in play. He might have had to fall off there as Jonas will attempt yet again. Coverage from Kanto and Pengu as Fabian takes out Joystick as Joystick cannot rotate. The Claymore does it. Successful plant goes down from G2. Kanto's there. What a play from Kanto to take out 2, and Shepard with no Yokais, no utility. He'll do nothing. Kanto Raketti, what an impressive round. 3-1 in favor of G2.
3-1 in favor, and on attack of Bank no less. We're looking to go to a 3-0 potentially if this keeps up. And the way that G2 have been playing these rounds is truly impressive. They had an abundance of time when executing from server. Truly in a relaxed position, no need to worry about the clock, and that's unusual on a bank attack. It comes down to how efficiently they were able to establish that there are no roamers on the top 2 floors, then push their way into server right after. Following that, plenty of hard destruction. Why? No hard destructor bans. So the drop downs are open and the server wall, both of them nice and wide. So G2 has plenty of angles to play. Even despite losing a player to the C4 on their first attempted plant, G2 manages to recover it because they just have everything going in their favor. When that yokai, which was the last hope for the defense, came in to deny the plant, there were still 40 seconds left. And there were no C4 left, no gas canisters left. G2 played the juggle so very well that Empire didn't even notice that they were wasting their utility.
G2 repeatedly went for that too. I think Jonas tried to plant 4 times or something along those lines. So Goga goes in, Goga dies, as Goga does from time to time. They say, thank you very much for your sacrifice, Goga. Let's send in Jonas. And Jonas went for, I think it was 3 or 4. Baited out 1 C4 and a yokai, 2 toxic canisters, 3rd toxic canister goes down, Jonas makes it out alive. That persistence frustrated Empire. And with the wall being opened up in server and Kanto and Pengu standing there, there was no opportunity for anybody on Empire to rotate without getting caught by one of the 2 members of G2.
Now, another attempt at the bottom floor from Team Empire. They still have plenty of that utility to use, and this time it's been a little bit slower to clear the top floors for G2 because they have detected a wild joystick doing his best to delay and distract. He'll be playing inside of Lone Office. This is a very tricky position to hold, and he's actually dancing with death, whether he knows it or not. Gotta imagine if Fabian had the call here, he would have gone for the shot. Goga's gonna drone out joystick in that Lone Office, make the mark, and here comes the shot, and yes, indeed, it will land. Fabian, perfect position to get that kill. And joystick accomplishes very little in his roam.
Karzeka's out of ammo as well on that shotgun. So Empire really trying to reshape this site as best as they can. This is I think the 3rd or 4th round where we've audibly heard that there is 0 shotgun ammo available for Karzeka.
As opposed to audibly heard.
That's what you do, right?
I got the jab back, didn't I?
All right.
That's all I wanted, Parker. G2 have control of server now. And with that control, easy access to the server wall itself. Predictable Valkyrie cam going back in sight for A. And in garage, oh no, this is huge. Pengu has worked his way into garage. There's nobody from the defense to watch him. And it looks like Fabian as well. This is a double down for G2. And Pengu's gonna get an opening frag onto Shepard because of it. This round could be over already just because of this control. Another for Pengu. As he starts working his way in, Kanter Raketi will join him. Scyther takes a lot of damage. Karzeka finally gets Jonas, but it doesn't matter. What a round from G2. And Pengu, the push it through garage. Truly impressive.
Man, this is just absolute domination right now through this attack here. On bank, an attack on bank, Michael.
4-1. How does, that's not, G2 making it happen.
This is the toughest match that Empire has ever found themselves in. We have that absolute banger that lasts an hour and 30, an hour and 40 minutes to start things off. It's as long as almost 2 full matches. How much of this do you think is just exhaustion and fatigue from Empire?
No, that's not fair. Both of these teams have been playing an equal amount. If we're talking about exhaustion, the only reason you could make that argument that it's hurting Empire more than G2 is because of the experience that G2 has, the sheer experience.
Side note, Karzeka was playing on main stairs, SMG 11 out, runs out of ammo. He pulls his shotgun out. He has no ammo in him. And he loses that fight. He has even 1 shot, he probably wins that.
You gotta, I understand you want to rework the site, but there are other options in terms of shotguns. I know Mira's banned, but still you have options. So that's unfortunate to see. You should have a little bit of ammunition, but that's kind of a nitpick. I mean, it's definitely something they need to improve upon, and of course I mean Empire, but I don't think it would have changed the outcome of that round, if we're being honest.
Goodness gracious, that's quite the stat.
Yeah, I was talking about this in the previous maps. We've been seeing the clutch factor from G2 be the serious difference maker. I think we've seen one or one or two max clutches throughout this series from Empire, and I want to say one, especially based on that stat we just saw. So it's not really been a great series in terms of individual performance from Empire thus far.
This is the power of the IQ as Fabian is able to spot these yokai drones out. CCTV's not working, so let's go to another site, they say. Back upstairs to CEO.
But that's the thing. CEO wasn't working either. In fact, this is where Empire started losing. They defended CEO twice in a row, and that were the first 2 rounds for G2. Why no rotation to Tellers potentially? They must not be prepared for it. Andrew Arquette gets the first kill here on to Shock. And as the CEO wall gets opened up, G2 have an immense amount of control.
This is what I said. Empire don't really seem to be contesting Skylight at all. They didn't do it on either of their 2 CEO defenses prior, and now G2's right into that. And they realize, hey, if we can keep Kanto on repels, take out those castle barricades that are present on Banana, you can keep going. Down goes Joystick, once again, largely ineffective and has fallen off the map so far, as even with Jaeger available, his presence has not been that noticeable. As you noted, G2 has so much control, it will continue, and it's a landslide right now, and Empire is getting buried as it's another round of chuckle from the coach of G2, and emerging on their attack, 5-1 for G2, making up for lost time after map number 1.
So we have a tactical pause here from Empire, and this is just about the best timing for one. As they find themselves just 1 round away from match point as we transition to the second half. The tricky thing is, the really bad thing, is that G2 have been winning these rounds on attack. They just went a 5-1 on attack, and now they get to defend on one of the most defender-sided maps, period. Bang. So this is a very comfortable position, considering its series point, championship point, world championship point, and that was very nearly a TK. But it wasn't. G2, a pretty dominant round, through and through. And this technical timeout, I don't think is really going to shake them. Now, G2 very likely going to start on defense because it's Bank. Because of that, Empire can set up an attack strategy specifically for Bank based on what they expect to see from G2's hold, which of course would be based around VOD review, but I mean, well, Empire said they didn't prep for it, so I don't know if that's actually a thing that they have done. Either way, they're gonna, I'm sure, have a very well set up strategy to attack onto this bottom floor, no matter what, based on what just happened in that tactical timeout. So, we'll be starting into the round. It'll be basement here from G2, and they're just setting themselves up.
Let's set expectations for this half.
Okay.
On Bank in particular, it was for a while the most balanced map in the map pool.
Yeah.
It's now extremely defender-sided. It's 5-1. I don't think Empire have ever felt more pressure in their entire lives than they do at this exact moment. It's a mental game at this point, somewhat.
5 seconds remaining.
How do you center yourself and come back? How do you pull that off?
Attackers.
Because right now, G2 looks unstoppable.
Attackers must locate and defuse a bomb.
In this match in particular, what do they need to do?
There is a moment in matches like these where no matter what you do as a player, you just cannot bring you and your team back into the match. There are a few ways to break free of this, but the most notable one is clutching around. A 1 versus 4, a 1 versus 3, whatever the case be. Clutching around at times can bring your whole team back. Reinvigorate the whole roster. Return faith in your capabilities. But we haven't been seeing that from them. We just haven't. They're not winning their clutches when put in that position. And I have to feel at this moment that Empire mentally are not in a really good spot. But what a shot from Kanto! He takes down Karzeka. That's just about the worst start to a half that you can have. But G2 are gonna keep adding to it. The body count is mounting for Empire as they have lost 2 attackers already. So little drone work being done to establish that there are, yes, roamers for G2, and you need to clear them out one by one. This Jackal ban is also going to be such a factor as Goga gets another. Shepard on the floor. The Yokai drone is going to work not in G2's favor though. And Empire will finally get their first frag.
That's a bit of sloppiness now, and it's opened the door for Empire to be able to walk right back in. Well, Jonas, as well as Goga, in positions where they should have known that somebody was nearby to be able to pounce on them, especially Goga. But it was a good set of play from Scyther above. At least you've got your 2 hard breachers left to carry out this execute, so you will be able to apply as much pressure as you can onto patches and onto the wall, but there will be minimal coverage. Scyther will be tasked with basically engaging in a 1v3 as Shockwave goes to go for a plant. Additionally, you've got 1 C4 in Pengu's hands, and you've got a Yokai drone, possibly 2, from Fabian that might still be available. This could be a big problem here for Empire.
The hard destruction still very available to Empire as that's the last 2 operators left on their roster here in this moment. They don't have very much time though, and they've got to get past many layers of these walls. Pengu very exposed and might be protected, but it's gonna work against him, yes indeed. Poor positioning from the Pulse. Kanto's on the roam though, and he's gonna shut down Shock. It's just Scyther, and the Diffuser's down inside of Small Office. He's in sight, but it doesn't matter. He hasn't got the time to make it upstairs, and he's not even gonna beat Fabian. G2 go to match point, series point, championship point.
Patience, composure, good decision-making skills, and an inability for Empire to get much going in the first couple seconds of their entry. This is G2 looking to repeat.
It's been 7 rounds in a row, or rather 6 rounds in a row for G2, very nearly 7. We're looking down the barrel of that as they go to CEO. That bottom floor defense from G2 primarily came down to the roamers being successful above. I don't think that Empire expected roamers. And it's surprising that they're not droning these things out. It was an excellent shot from Kanto Raketti, to be sure. But why wasn't he droned? Truly a confusing lack of information here for Empire.
Kanto Raketti has woken up, and a couple of the members of Empire have fallen asleep. Joystick has almost completely fallen off the board. Karzeka has as well after his strong start. And you just don't have the depth on Empire right now to be able to pull them back from the brink. Not to mention the fact that, as we noted, their entry is a little bit weaker. Their information is not where it needs to be. G2 has gotten the best of Empire on almost every single entry so far. And as the stat last round said, in 1vx situations, G2 are winning by a score of 7-1.
Well, a factor of 7-1. We assume it's 7-1.
It could be 14-2.
That would be odd, but yes.
So a CEO defense, Michael.
Yeah. And it could very well be the last defense total. We haven't even seen tellers brought. It's not been necessary. Empire unable to really hold anything other than the bottom floor on their first attempt. And that first attempt did instill a little bit of faith that Empire was going to be able to make this happen, maybe bring it back and push us to map number 4. But so far, it doesn't look that way. That 6-1 scoreline.
These are the windows on which Joystick will live on, as we saw a camera from Goga get thrown out, but it was immediately picked off. Kanto Raketti on the Echo is pretty common. He's going to play over by Banana. Fabian is inside of lobby.
And he's got support as well in this position. Kanto Raketti there to assist him. Jonas will get the first kill of the round. Joystick on Rappel. That's North Rappel. Goes down.
There's another body near Fabian too. Sophia Karzeka. Fabian could possibly capitalize on this, but he's not very fast. He needs to look the other way. There's Goga to take out Shockwave, and Shepard downs Goga, so it's very quick. Karzeka will go on to Rappel, and if he's spotted, this could be Fabian getting a kill. Just below, Karzeka waiting so patiently. Who's going to be able to get this? But Fabian doesn't see. Karzeka on rappel. Pengu takes down Scyther. There's only 2 members left of Empire. Karzeka will be so vulnerable if Fabian decides to look out his way. But for the time being, there will be great patience. There you see it. Fabian can't land the shots. There goes Karzeka. Shepard's the last one left. He needs to get into the site, and keep in mind, in a 4v1, they are the best team that has ever played Rainbow Six, and the first team to repeat as defending, reigning world champions. It doesn't matter the region, it doesn't matter the team, it doesn't matter the roster. They will find you and they will win. G2 take the Six Invitational 2019.
And that's 2 in a row for G2. Absolutely amazing. Just adding to their impressive list of accomplishments. Season 1, Season 4, Season 5, the second Invitational, the Season 8, the Paris Major, all of them. They just keep winning.
So much winning, Michael.
And now, Invitational number 3, 2019, as you said. And it was a well-deserved win at that. In a best of 5, bringing it out in 3 maps only. The last 2 maps going quite quickly.
I just felt like the wind was taken out of the sails of Empire after that first map.
It certainly seems that way, yeah.
All of their energy and motivation was channeled into Border, and they came up just short, and there was nothing after that.
And that's the first time I've truly seen Empire stumble after such a small failure in 1 map.
They were not the favorites last year, that's for sure, but they are getting a very warm celebration this year. World champions. Repeat for Shas, repeat for Pengu, repeat for Goga, for Jonas and Fabian, and the first for Kanto Raketti. Matt, enjoy the winners on the stage.
Intero, Kicks, all of our casters and all of our streams, everyone joining us all over the world. We will enjoy this moment. I think maybe ever so slightly less than the people who are next to me will enjoy it. Our world champions are G2! It doesn't matter how many you win. It doesn't matter where they are. It matters when you win again.
I say it in every interview. We're the best team in the world. It doesn't matter. This is our stage. We play on stage. We know what to do with the pressure. It's fine. We won.
You cannot take that away from a team who can win a world championship. Remember last year, from a 2-0 position, coming back to win it in overtime at the end. This one, a lot more dominant, except for the unforgettable first map. You wanted unlimited overtime, you got it! 22 rounds, just tell me, because it's unprecedented. 12-10 you won Coastline. What was that like to play as the rounds just one your way, one back again?
Oh, they were a sluggish map from our side. They played really, really good. You saw their frags. All of their players had more kills than we did. We just kept fighting and fighting and fighting. Everyone won their attacks, and eventually we won a defense. It was a great map, but I actually think they lost the game at that map because there's no coming back after a game like that when they just frag us and we don't get anything.
This matters to you. You're so calm. This is like all of our interviews. It's just determination. That means you always win it. Tell us truthfully, Fabio, what does this mean?
Everything. I say it every interview about this, what it means to win the Invitationals. It's everything. This is what Siege is about. We want to win this game, and here we are, again, best in the world.
I am also, excuse me, Fabian, much as I do love talking to you, I do want to quickly, to Kanto Raketti, just tell us how you're feeling now, because you're going to lift that.
I don't even know what to say, but except that I'm just super thankful to these guys for picking me up like a year ago and seeing the potential in me. And now we won literally every tournament as a roster.
Gentlemen, let's take a walk. The defending world champions, now the 2-time world champions are G2!